everyone, it's Sharonda from Prepare Wait. So today I'm going to be reviewing Insecure Season 5, Episode 1, Reunited, okay? We are at the Season 5 premiere, which I am excited about, but that means that I have to accept that this is actually going to be the final season of Insecure, and I'm really sad about it. I'm still going to be in denial about it. I don't care what nobody say, because you know them episodes going to go by just like this every single week, and it's just a lot, you guys. It's just a lot. So we see that Kelly, Tiffany, and Derek, they're basically on a road trip. Everyone is headed to Stanford for their alumni weekend. And essentially, when we see, we know that Issa got invited to speak on a panel. She's like an actual panelist because she's an entrepreneur for her company, The Block, even though she don't know what the hell that actually means. But we see that Tiffany and them are talking there like, look, I'm not here for Molly's nonsense, Issa's nonsense, because clearly they still in this awkward space. But then Kelly was like, but why is Molly posting these photos? Like, she's saying she fine, but she posting photos of the corner of her face on Instagram like she Picasso. And I said, you know what, Kelly? I really missed you. I really missed you in your shade, okay? I'm just saying. But Derek was there to try to be like, wait a minute, Molly be speaking truth sometimes. She was like, how can you go into the sunshine without first going through the darkness? Let me say that one more time. Let me bring that back. How can you appreciate the sunshine? What is going well in your life without you learning about the trials and the tribulations that come with the darkness? Okay? Giving us a word on this Sunday. Derek, you better tell them that Molly trying to speak some truth into their lives. But we see that Kelly started talking about these thirst trap photos when she was going through her breakup. And I was like, Kelly, set the thirst trap photos out. She said her DMs are still filthy. So I'm just like, sis, let me know your ways so I can go ahead and get my DM popping as well, all right? So we see that they get there. We see Molly and Issa are being weird because it's just they're in a weird space right now. And so, when Issa got to the airport, she just got right in the car. And I was like, sis, I didn't see you check no license plate. All the cars looked the same. Then she was like, oh, my bad, this ain't my car. And she was like, do you know where my driver at? She was like, y'all don't meet up in the morning. I was like, ma'am, I see where you were going with this. No, you got to check the license plate. Somebody could have ran off with you doing all of this. But we see that they're still being awkward as hell. They, Tiffany's like, oh, you guys are twinsies. And they just being weird. And then we see that Kelly is upset because she was like, hey, they said that I'm not registered for the event, even though I registered for the event. But we quickly find out the reason why Kelly didn't have no name tag or nothing is essentially they think Kelly's dead. She was like, they killed me. And I was like, why y'all be doing my girl Kelly like this? So we see that Kelly is like, you know what? I've been wanting to try out a new identity anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and be French. And I was like, baby girl, I don't think... I'm trying to see where you were going with this, okay? But I don't think that's like what you really meant when you said identity. But it's okay, I'm just gonna play along with you. But I was just like, sis, that's not what you want. But can someone please help Issa? If you're gonna start your company, I'm just gonna need you to understand, know what the acronym stands for. I'm just saying, because she didn't understand what the block stood for, so I was just really confused, but it is what it is. But I was with Issa when Tiffany was like, Issa, you have a certain type of hey when you don't know nobody. You be like, hey, girl. Y'all do that. You be like, hey, girl, how you doing? I'd be like, who that? I don't remember where she come from. What? I was totally with Issa with that. I was like, I definitely have a hey. But I have a friend who remembers no one's name. Like, she literally don't remember people's names. And I'm just like, but you, we went to school. It's okay. It is what it is. But we see that essentially Molly is really bothered by the state of Issa and her relationship. We see later in the episode when she asks Issa, hey, are we going to be okay? She's trying to have conversations with Issa. Issa seems to be very on her guard. She doesn't necessarily want to give information, especially after Derek awkwardly is like, hey, I'm going to leave y'all to be, do what y'all going to do. But Amari's single, or Amari's divorced now. So we see that she's trying to have a conversation with Issa essentially about, Amari. And she's saying that they've been texting. And then she starts getting into typical Molly, how long has he been divorced? Is he really over his wife? What's actually happening? Then she kind of catches herself, and then she tries to, talk to Issa about it. But Issa seems like she doesn't want to cross that boundary. And also, too, we have friends like that. Like, there are some friends who, like, talk to me about, like, relationships and stuff. And I just be like, you just want me to listen, right? Like, you don't want me to give you my honest opinion, because sometimes they're just not ready for that. And so, I don't know, they're still being weird. But we see that Molly asked Kelly, like, how long did it take for you and Tiffany when you guys were beefed out? How long did it take for you guys to become friends again? And she was like, it just takes a while. Like, you're going to laugh at their bad jokes. Things are going to be awkward, like, until it'll just click for all of you. And just keep doing what you're doing. Like, this too shall pass. So I do want to say that the music for this episode definitely took me back to college. Because when they played The Dream, the chokehold that The Dream had, one of my friends, Sierra, oh my gosh, she loved The Dream's album. And it is a good album, but she played it all the time. And so when they started playing one of the songs, I was like, it literally took me back to being in college when his album came out. It was such a big deal. Also, to blow the whistle when they had the, like, flutist. Shout out to all my black women who out there who play the flute. Represent for us, okay? All right? We be out here playing flutes too, okay? So I love that they had her playing the flute to blow the whistle. Then we saw the in memoriam with Kelly, and they said she had a mean stanky leg and she always carried a purse. And I was just like, let me see the stanky leg. Kelly seemed really bothered by this, y'all. And I guess it is something when you get a little bit older and then people that you know actually start passing away. You just like, damn, like, are we at that age? Like, we just in our third, like, what happened? But she was really affected by this. We saw she started doing her little stanky leg. I said, okay, Kelly, I see why they was on you about the stanky. You had a good stanky leg, boo. But I also want to give a shout out to the costumes, because I peeped all of Tiffany's, like, pink and green, her AKA outfits. This entire episode was on point. Kelly looked fantastic. Everybody looked really great. It was so much I was like, I need to step my wardrobe up, because I just walk around in sweatpants, onesies, jumpsuits, anything that I could squeeze into, but they were just looking so fantastic. I was like, I need to step my wardrobe up, because I'm just over here being a little basic bitch. But I also love this introduction of their Cheyenne, who was a friend of theirs. They used to have like a little rap group. Clearly, she was super extra. She said that she's doing backup for Sweetie right now. But when she like rolled up on Issa, I was like, girl, like what are we doing right now? Then she did the high kick, and then Kelly was like, baby, I can do it too. Well, let me see if I can I do it? Can I do it? Okay, that's as far as I can go. Kelly, like, girl, you did that. You gonna make me start doing some shit. Hold on, y'all. I didn't pull something. Wait a minute. Oh. I'm gonna feel that in the morning, y'all. I'm definitely gonna feel that. But, I just want to give kudos to Kelly, because I'm finna get my splits together, baby. I'm finna get my high kicks and everything going. Now, Derek know that he was lying about these initials in the episode, talking about he carved their names in a tree or whatever. And then basically Tiffany let him have it, because she was like, I know this dude lying and I saw him carving the initials in the tree. But we just gonna let him do what he does. But we see that Issa ends up doing this panel. And so it's a panel of entrepreneurs and went to Stanford. And I did like the questions. And we see Diallo Riddle, who you may know from Sherman Showcase, was the moderator for it, who was hilarious, because when he called Issa's new company the bloke, I was like, baby, like, how do you get, but you know what, her basically her logo, that's why it's really important when you're doing your branding, just make sure that you have somebody else look at it, because someone could have walked her through that, and then it wouldn't have been an issue for her. So we see that, as he's asking these questions to them, right? And they're having these conversations about, like, when did you know that you were on the right path? Issa said something like, that is true. We all make decisions, and we don't know if the path that we're on is necessarily the right path. And really, it's just a leap of faith. And really, you can follow this path, and then it could all be for nothing, and you're back at ground zero. And I like that they really delve into Issa's imposter syndrome, because a lot of us deal with that. Like, I deal with imposter syndrome every single day, that, even though you're living your dream. Issa has started her own company. She's doing really great things in her community, putting on really great events. But even in her mind, like, it's just, am I still doing enough? Like, if I'm at this age, I should have been at this point and that point. And then you see everybody else doing, like, living in their purpose, and it makes you feel like, wow, like, I'm really not doing what I should be doing, even though you're actively living your dream. I really like that they kind of include all of that in there. When the dude said, after she said, like, I don't know if I'm on the right path, he was like, well, I mean, I'm glad that I have a 9 to 5. I said, sir, I ain't knocking nobody with 9 to 5, because I still got a 9 to 5 and work multiple jobs. But I was just like, it ain't what it's cracked up to be, okay? Entrepreneurs out there are living the damn dream. But we see that Issa gets a visit from older Issa, okay, which was a hilarious conversation, because when she was basically like, nappy boy, ooh, T-Pain also had a chokehold on us in my college years, okay? So we see that she was like, did you meet T-Pain yet? She was like, no, not yet, but he's still fine. And then basically, I didn't know that Molly and Issa wanted to start a law firm. And so she's like, did y'all do it yet? She was like, no, I never really wanted to do that. She's like, but y'all still best friends, right? She was like, yeah, we're in a good place. Like, she didn't even feel confident about it. Then when she was like, let me see the teeth, I was like, okay. I was dying laughing at the teeth stomp, because anyone who like me who had braces, like, that's a really big deal when you finally get your teeth back. So even though, you know what, Lord, we're going to claim right now, we're getting those veneers, okay? You going to bless me? All right. So we see that at the end, she ends up telling her, after she's disappointed that she ain't got no abs. I was like, Issa body look great. So we see that she is basically like, hey, make sure you create an app with pictures and call it Instagram. And I was like, that's a perfect name. And then she was like, what was the app? And I was like, oh, I totally forgot none of this existed. When she was like, oh, when they brought up the It's Complicated Facebook, I was like, wow, like, Facebook literally started when I went to school. So it's just crazy, like, seeing where we are now. See, clearly I'm showing my age, but it was just so funny reliving that whole moment, because I forgot about everything that did not exist just a couple of years ago. But here we are now. We know what apps and Facebook and It's Complicated are. So we see that essentially, after they're having this conversation about when Molly asks Issa, are we going to be okay? They get a text message from Cheyenne. Cheyenne is like, hey, let's go to Oakland, where I think it was Reggae's goals, have a good time. They in the car having a good time. And then Kelly kind of has a serious moment where she's basically like, damn, is everything I do a joke? Like, everything a laugh at my expense. And I really, like, that was my only nitpick about the episode, is I wish they would have delved a little bit deeper into that, and hopefully they do delve deeper into that arc with Kelly, because sometimes I do think that we treat Kelly as a joke, but Kelly has a lot to offer as a character, and we always talk about how we want more screen time for Kelly. So I still don't know why that hasn't happened, but Kelly was still looking good this episode. But they basically make light of it, and Cheyenne makes a joke, everyone starts laughing. So they end up going to they go to a liquor store, and essentially Cheyenne has set them up to be robbed. She started overacting, just doing the most when the dude pulled a gun on them, and he was like, shut up, Cheyenne. And they was like, hold up, what? And so essentially she was like, yep, come up off that bracelet, the Cartier watch, give me them shoes. Molly come up off them shoes. And then they was like, dang, for real? She was like, everybody can get it, okay? I ain't got no beef with y'all, but like, we out here trying to do stuff. But when Issa tried to give Cheyenne her shoes, and she said, nah, baby, you can keep that. And then she did a high kick and smell. She was like, ain't shit changed. And I was just like, you know what? I can't believe that y'all even let her set you up like that, because I was shocked that y'all was even hanging out with Cheyenne like that. You had to know, like, if she don't even want to pay for her own registration, you need to be hanging with her, okay? So they get back in the car. They tell Tiffany and Kelly what happened. And then essentially they end up laughing. And then Kelly and Tiffany can see, like, okay, they finally made it. They made it back, okay? That reunited. It's not just a reunion of them going back to Stanford, but it's just them being together again and starting to feel like they're getting back to their old selves. And so essentially they do a eulogy for Kelly at breakfast the next day, which is very touching. Kelly loved it. And essentially, Molly and Issa, they have this conversation where she was just like, I want to move forward. I want things to go back to normal. And so they kind of make that pact, which I kind of love, because it reminded me of when they like had the huge falling out when they were basically eating at the diner, and then we see them kind of reunite at the diner. And I'm probably reading into this because I just read into way too much, but I just, I like like that. And then we see that Kelly's doing her, the Prenny's preguntas. And basically she starts talking about like, what would you do, if you only had a little bit of time left? Like, how would you make the most of it? How would you build your legacy? I love how they show Lawrence picking Issa up from the airport, them kissing, and, Tiffany and Derek together looking at their baby. I really like how they did that whole montage. Molly looking in the mirror, trying to see like, is this the look that I should have? Am I happy with this look? And so we see that Issa and Lawrence, they're having a conversation. Issa's being a little bit quiet in the car. And essentially when they get out, she kind of just has this look. She was like, I've been thinking. And then she kind of looks at him like, I'm not okay with this situation. And she didn't even have to say the words. Lawrence just kind of looked at her and he was just like, I get it. And then essentially the episode goes off. And so I don't know what's going to happen. It seemed Issa, she just couldn't get down with the whole, you got a baby on the way from condolences. I don't know what the hell is going to happen, but I did like this intro into the season, kind of resetting everyone. I thought everyone looked fantastic. The outfits, the hair, the makeup was amazing. All of the songs that took me back to my college days were amazing. When they was like, blow the whistle. He's like, what my favorite word? Every time that song come on in the club, even now, and y'all know I don't even be going to the club like that, but anytime that song come on, what's my favorite word? Bitch! And my parents would watch it. I was just singing the song. I wasn't trying to curse, but I couldn't really do it. I had to give it my all. Basically, Daddy, if you watching, don't show this to my mama. Don't be snitching, because snitches get stitches. So, yeah, that's pretty much everything that happened with this week's episode. I thought it was a really cute intro. I'm glad that they kind of just got straight into it and really healed what happened between Molly and Issa last season. I really didn't want to spend the whole last season of them kind of beefing it out, trying to find their way back together. So I was really happy that they just wrapped all of this up in a 30-minute episode. Love the addition of Cheyenne. Also too, just Kelly is hilarious as always, and girl, I'm gonna keep practicing my high kicks so I can get like you, boo. But yeah, those are pretty much my thoughts on Insecure Season 5, Episode 1, Reunited Okay. As always, my name is Sharonda from Parawait, and if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit that notification bell. Stop playing! But let me know in the comment section below, what did you think of this week's episode? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What do you want to see for these last couple of episodes of the final season of Insecure? But that is all I have for you guys. I love you guys 3000. And until I see you again, bye.